library teacher, and a lot of the young kids often come to give their books in twice a day just to come and see the animals at Gari. Basically, she wants to know about kudus. When we see them, there are just 2 or 3 of them at a time instead of a herd. Are they considered to be solitary animals, similar to those of steenbok and reedbok? Then another question also about kudu is we often see massive herds of impala, but only see, is it because the impala population is much larger, or are there other reasons?
Thanks, Jan. Sorry, that's...
Sorry, Peter.
Yeah.
This is from Kathy.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, 2 questions there, sort of similar kind of eye glow. Just try and get the lights here. Split type of one from Kathy. Marcia, also nice to hear that kind of news. And basically, you guys want to know if kudus are what kind of social structure they have, whether they're solitary herd animals, but essentially we always see impala in these large herds, and kudus and nyala also we always see in small herds. Now, it's mainly got to do really with the kind of habitat they're in. In this area, there's a lot of thick bush here, especially just general Western Gari is very, very lush. So things like kudu and nyala, which are browsers, in other words, they eat leaves and they move in the thickets, and to an extent make getting hunted easier for kudu. So it does benefit them to be large. Typically, we see them in numbers of anything from we've seen 1 or 2 on their own, but normally about 3 or 4 of them together, up to about 7 or 8. There's that one herd on Gwari Pan Road that we often see about 8 or 9 of them together. So that's it. Nyala is about the same, from about 3 or 4 animals up to about 7, 8, 10 sometimes. Parts of Namibia, for instance, where I'm from, it's more open sort of savanna rather than bushveld. There you will see kudu herds of 15, 20, 25 sometimes, but never in the same numbers that you see in impala. But then, of course, to add on to the question, or part of what you guys said, with your, I just heard the battery beep, but we should be able to get a little bit more out of it. With the impala, there are by far greater numbers. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of impala. That's the do into the bush, but like you saw earlier, that smaller herd of impala in the thick bush, they're a smaller group. And you go into the herds that stick around the more open areas, very much surrounding and habitat related, how the herds function. I hope that answers the question both to Kathy and Marcia. And I think we might disappear at any moment. The battery's beeping there, so I'm going to say good night for myself.